take mistakes. Jesus, come to me while I pray. Lord, please take my pain. Hello, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for tuning into the Yvonne Latrell's podcast. I am the host, Yvonne Latrell. Guys and dolls, remember, if you would like to be a guest on the show, if you have a show idea or to advertise on the show, please give us a call at 305-204-3371. Again, our number is 305-204-3371. Or you guys can contact us at 954-886-3543. You guys can catch us every Wednesday on any of your audio streaming services. Today's topic is dating someone from a broken home. Today's show was sponsored by Tax Resource Center and 729 Trucking. So, guys and dolls, please bear with me today. I'm actually trying a different platform where I'm live on air. Normally, I do the show and then I upload it. Remember, I started off with Blog Talk Radio and you guys could call in. So now I'm on another platform where I can take call ins. And hold on, let me just check something. Okay, yeah, so I'm just trying to learn this new platform or whatever. So I was supposed to have a guest, but not for today. Remember, I think I told you guys like a few weeks ago I was supposed to have a guest and then I was having some technical difficulties. So I found a different platform and I'm trying this platform out before I allow the guest to come on the show. So I also have another returning guest. I actually have two returning guests, but like I said, I want to try this. I'm hoping that I could try this week, next week, and maybe the following week to make sure I have this mastered before I have anyone on the show. But I am now accepting guests. And so, guys, I haven't checked the email, so forgive me for that. But I have been in messages all over social media. So, guys, remember, guys and dolls, remember, you guys can contact me on social media at Yvonne Latrell, at Yvonne Latrell Podcast, any platform. Pretty much, I'm on every platform. And if you cannot catch me there, don't forget you guys can log on to www.yvonnelatrellpodcast.com, or you guys can email us at yvonnelatrell@yvonnelatrellpodcast.com. Okay, so now we're going to get into our topic today. And again, today's topic, it's called dating someone from a broken home. And I think this is a very good topic. Oh my gosh, this is a real topic that a lot of people should be talking about. Okay, so first of all, okay, and I gotta have my phone here because, okay, so now listen, this topic idea, this did not come from me. This topic came from Nino Brown 305 or 305 Nino Brown. I made it clear how much I like Nino Brown. But on this particular topic, I agreed with him and I also disagreed with him on this particular topic. So, first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you guys what he said on his Facebook post, and then we will go from there. And if you guys have Facebook, you can follow him. You can follow both of us, Yvonne Latrell's podcast, and you can follow Nino Brown 305. Okay, so first let me pull up his post. Okay, so it says, Black women are so aggressive these days. Even the rap music they make, they are pushing men away from them with that shit. I love me a submissive but strong woman. I can't stand the aggressive type. Never date a woman that was raised by a single mother. She was raised in bitterness. She's she was fed self-hate, and that's why she hates men. She doesn't need a man until the bills pile up. She will turn her home into a feminist battleground. Avoid this type at all costs. Avoid women with daddy issues. They were never taught how to love a man. The man that brought them in the world never loved them, so they will never love you. You'll spend years trying to fix what her father broke. You're not her healing journey. You are her next trauma story. Avoid her. Okay, so guys and dolls, remember this did not come from me. This came from Nino Brown. Before anybody hear this clip and say, oh, let me tell you something or whatever. No, you're not going to tell me anything because I didn't make this post. But I actually thought that this was a very good topic. Um, okay, so now, first of all, this post was targeted to Black women only. And that's one thing. Okay, I don't understand that. For those of you who may be hearing my podcast for the first time, I come from a two-parent home. My parents were married like maybe 20 years before I was even thought about. Then they had my twin brother and I. We were the last of 9 children. So they had seven kids, and then later on when they were done with having children, my mom was like 38, my dad was like 41, and then she was pregnant again, and this time with 2 kids. So yeah, um we were the last, and I was the very, very last. Okay, and I say that just to say, um I just didn't hit a nerve. I don't want anybody to say, oh, okay, well, you're saying that because you were raised by a single mother. No, my parents were together. They were married before like I said, before I was thought about. So this definitely does not hit a nerve. But I just thought that this was a good topic. Okay. But yeah, so I come from a good family. Clearly, he isn't talking about me, but my question is, why is he only talking about Black women who were raised by a single parent and basically by a single mother? He didn't say father. Like, that's crazy because, if you're going to make this topic, why not, why not all women? Like if you're going to say, avoid someone that was raised up by a parent, why not? Why isn't he talking about all women? Why is it just Black women? Or why isn't it all men? Black men, white men? Like if anybody who was raised by a single mother or a single father, just a single parent, why does it have to be a Black woman? um the truth is, any person that's raised from a broken home can be bitter. Now, I'm not saying that they are, but it's a lot on one person raising a child by themselves. So, we definitely have to be real with that because it is a lot on one person. Um, there are single fathers raising their kids, but in most cases, it's mothers. It's more single mothers out there that's raising these kids by themselves. And this made me think, a mom can provide, she can shelter, food, provide food and water and all necessities that it takes to raise a child or children. But at the same time, like, she's making sure that they have everything that they need as far as, like I said, necessities or whatever. But there's no love in the home. Now, again, even though this is not about me myself, I was told I love you every day. I grew up on hugs and kisses and I love yous. I was always told I love you every day by both my parents. I was always told that I love you. So when I am in a relationship, I am definitely a affectionate person because, like, I always felt love. So, it's just like there is a lot of love inside of me when I'm with someone. Um, Now don't get it twisted. There are single parents that are just as affectionate as a two-parent household. But there are a lot of single parent households where the parent is stressed out and they have to do it by themselves. And it's not that they don't love their child or children, but it's so much bitterness towards the other parent that's not there. And that the mother, she is bitter, she becomes bitter, and it's so much bitterness that the bitterness from the mom, it rubs off on a child or the children. And sometimes the children become just like the mother, the child can become bitter, evil, trifling, angry, childish, liars, just like the mother that raised them. And sometimes they can't see it because to them it's normal. And it shouldn't be normal. It's actually dysfunctional. But if that's all you know, then that's all you know and that's all you become. Now, if you are raised by a evil person or a bitter person, and sometimes people are lucky enough, fortunate enough to meet someone, whether it's a spouse, a future spouse, or even if it's just a friend that can see those scars and they can see through those scars and they will point those scars out to them. Um, so like if like I said, so if somebody is bitter and they grew up in a bitter home and just with bitterness, then the right person, like I said, could come along, come along. I'm sorry, I apologize. Come along, and he can see that bitterness and try to help the person heal through that. Because sometimes, like I said, the child, even when they grow up, they don't know that they're bitter. They don't, like I said, they think it's normal, so they don't see it in themselves. And sometimes, okay, now sometimes the parents, they will co-parent where both parents are in the child's life. And if there is a bitter parent rubbing off their bitterness on that child, then hopefully the other parent can see through that and block that bitterness and just try to install love in that child. And it would be great if the child can receive love from both ends. So if it's two parents and they're co-parenting, if the mother is full of love and the father is full of love, then that's great. It's really great because like even if a child comes from a broken home, like I said, some of these people, some of these kids, they this is where I agree with Nino Brown. Like the one man that brought them into the world, he don't love them, or they don't know who he is, and he's not trying to find out who they are. And of course, that is anger on the mom. That's bitterness on the mom. That's embarrassment on the mom, and then that child is going to feel some type of way. So that's really something to think of because, like, anybody could say whatever, oh, yeah, my mom, she raised me or whatever, and this and that or whatever. But okay, where was your dad? Was your dad in your life? Did you know your father? And if you did, like, did you see him on a regular or did you see him every once in a blue? So all of that, it plays a huge part in a child's life, rather the person admits it or not, like once they're grown, once that child becomes a grown up, like, can they actually say, okay, you know what? I am hurt because my father was not in my life. He didn't care about me or whatever, or he didn't try to get to know me. So that's understandable. It's not the child's fault. And I'm not going to say it's the mother's fault either. Sometimes it's the father that's in that situation, but here's another thing. If you are in that situation and okay, just say a woman has a child and the father is not around. Okay, the woman is definitely going to be bitter. Like, okay, now she had to figure all this out by herself. And again, like I said, that's totally understandable. But even if you are bitter as a parent, you got to eventually figure out how you can let this bitterness go. Okay, it happened. You can't do anything about it. The child is here, but now you need some type of therapy so you can get past that. You can't just hold on to that forever, you just can't. um and that's why I said, this topic should not just be targeted on black women raised by a single mother, because there are black men that were raised by a single mother. There are white men and white women and Spanish men and Spanish women, all cultures, all sexes, that were raised by a single parent. And like I said, most of the time, it is the woman. Yeah, there are, again, like I said, yeah, there are single fathers out there that are doing their job, but the majority of the single broken homes, it's the woman that's raising the the child or the children. And before I even go further, that's why if you are with a no good man, you should not be having child after child after child. I understand maybe one mistake, but there should not be a whole lot of kids from a nothing man, a nobody man. Like, he's a nobody. If he's putting all these babies in you and you're doing this all by yourself, then okay, you're gonna have to cut it out. You can't keep on giving him sex and he's not helping you with these kids. Okay, so no household is perfect. And that's two parent households is not perfect. But again, like I said, I do understand there is a difference. There is a difference. I never had to wonder who my dad was. I never felt unwanted. I never felt unloved. Now, I did feel like I wanted to run away quite a few times because my parents were always in my business. Like, I'm talking about, like, they were just I felt like they were too overprotective. I mean, at the time I just thought that they were so mean and so strict because I wanted to run away probably from age 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, I was always packing my bags going absolutely nowhere. But again, I never felt unloved by my parents, and that's the main thing. So Um, but now the thing is, I definitely don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But like I said, there's a difference from both households. No one should want to bring a child into this world if you and the other person, if y'all are not together, you should not want to bring a child into this world. And a lot of times, mainly it's the women. Now, of course, I'm not going to say that um I'm not going to give the men a free pass, but a lot of times it's women. Now, yeah, these men will go around and a man is going to only do what you allow him to do. But women have brought kids into this world for the wrong reason, hoping that a child will make a relationship between her and the father, hoping for a marriage from the father when her and the father is not even in a relationship, hoping a no good at man will all of a sudden become a good man just because you've given him a child. Women have brought children into this world trying to hurt another woman. And we're talking about a life. We're talking about a child, and you're being childish. This is a childish act to bring a child into this world only because you don't like another woman. or just because you're trying to get a man, or because another woman is pregnant, so you want to get have a baby too. That is so fucking embarrassing. It's so embarrassing on so many levels. Like, I would never try to get pregnant from a man who has a baby on the way. I would never try to bring a baby into this world if me and a man, like, if we're not together, or to hurt another woman, because I mean, jokes jokes on you. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you do something like that, then hey, you're the joke. You got to be kidding me. Like, and there are women that have done things like this. And again, like I said, this is a life. This is a human. And okay, yeah, you have this baby, but okay, the baby, being a baby mama is not a flex. Being a baby mama is not a goal. It's never the goal. Never the goal. I did a show before called something baby mama or whatever. I don't know, but a baby mama is just not the goal. Don't volunteer yourself on becoming a baby mama. If you and the guy if okay now if you and the guy if you guys are together and y'all planned on getting married and y'all planned on having a family and everything else that comes along with the family, and things just don't work out, okay, that's understandable. I understand that. I get it. We all have been in broken relationships, but to just have a child for no damn reason, out of spite, out of messiness, out of evilness, or because you're trying to hurt another girl, or you thinking that the baby is going to get a man, no, that is so childish. I don't want a baby from a man who's with who's with somebody else. I don't want a baby from somebody who's married to someone else, or who already has a baby on the way, a no-good man, no, who's sleeping with everyone, no. Because that child is going to grow up one day, and that child is going to have so many questions. And no matter what you tell that child when they are younger, when they get older, they're going to realize, okay, um, my mom was a fool, my mom was a whore, or my mom was just some action. Like, these kids, they know what's going on. And especially if you have a child, and you and the child father, y'all are not together, and you have not been with no one else. And some people like to say, oh, I'm single, or I'm single by choice. No, you're single because nobody else want you. Let's be real. Let's make that clear. You are single because nobody wants you. And that is the truth. Like, there's no reason why you would just sit here and not have a life. And the father, these fathers, they will move on. Some of these mothers, you move on, and I'm not talking about moving on by just being some action. That's not moving on. I'm talking about moving on, focusing on you, getting yourself together, and you start dating someone again, and you have a relationship again, or have a relationship, like, you know have you ever had a relationship? Some of these people have never been in relationships. They have just been just action, just some side action. And that it may be hurtful, but it's true. So, like I said, you definitely have to, get yourself together. If you have any mental issues, if you have any bitterness, any negativity, work on yourself, get yourself together. And then, get yourself back out there, have your life. Because like I said, these kids, they grow up, they're going to have a lot of questions. They're going to figure it out, whether you tell them the truth or not. And then guess what? These kids are going to be grown, and they're going to be going on about their business. And then you're going to be just a sad, lonely cat lady, dog lady, or just, you're just going to be sad. And the people around you, they're going to talk about you. They're going to say how stupid you were, or how stupid you are. And they don't have to tell you to your face. They're just going to say, oh my gosh, that was stupid of her. Then they're going to question your self-esteem. They're going to talk about your self-esteem. And they're going to say, hey, her self-esteem is showing. And I'm not talking about high self-esteem, because that's some low self-esteem type shit. If there's nothing if there's nothing with you and your child's father, you should be able to get someone else. I have seen a good number of stepfathers and stepmothers in the household. So if if it's a stepmom or if it's a stepfather, that's still a two-parent household, because you got someone else to love you for you, love your child, accept you for who you are, accept your child as theirs, even if the child already has a mom in their life or have a dad in their life. A stepfather or a stepmother, it's not like they're trying to replace that person, but they are just also letting your child know, okay, hey, I know that I'm not your mom, or I'm not your dad, but I'm here also, and I love you as if you were mine. And so, like I said, a household with a stepfather or stepmom, those are some great homes. Those homes turned out great. So if you were raised by a bitter mom, and now you are bitter, and now and controlling, messy, and evil, just like your mom, you're most likely going to be single your entire life. Playing games will not keep a man. So just remember that. Playing games will not keep a man, it will not keep a woman. And mainly, like I said, it's mainly for, I say this towards the women, because it seemed like women, they do play games. Yeah, guys, they do they shit too, but women play some crazy games. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. But it either way, you just have to be careful, because um, playing games, it can leave you alone and bitter with a child. So again, you just have to think about all this. You gotta be real with yourself, and that's basically it. So I was friends with someone who had a messy, oh my gosh, a messy, evil, trifling, lying, no good as mother. Oh my gosh. And when you're young, you don't notice certain things. Looking back looking back on this lady, just looking back at her now, all I could say is wow. Like, oh my gosh, when I tell you, trifling, evil trifling woman. So the father was in my friend's life, um, but the father and the mother, they were no longer together. The father was actually decent, and I just feel like, looking at everything now, my friend, she had good and bad in her. Just like, we all do. We all do. But it was so much of her mother in her that it's just it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, because the mother was evil. Like I said, the father is not that he was perfect, but the father was a decent man. So I feel like she got the good basically from her father and the evil from her mother. And like I said, looking back, oh my gosh, like that lady was just an evil lady. And now, like I said, now that I'm older, I see that my friend, she got too much of her mother ways in her. And it's like, once you get a certain age, it's like, okay, you can't keep on dealing with somebody if they got too much of their mom in them. You could care about them, you can love them or whatever, but like the mother was just evil, trifling. Like, and she even said that she had a trifling mom, and her mom is that, her mom was just definitely trifling. So I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. And let me see how much time I got. I'm gonna wrap it up. I was gonna I was going to say about this girl that I used to work with. She was married. Okay, I'm just going to see if I could say this story real quick. Okay, so she was married, and her and her husband started having problems. She started cheating on her husband with a married man. The married man and his wife, they were having issues. Anyway, so my coworker was sleeping with this married man. They're just partying, having a good time or whatever. Then she becomes pregnant. The guy that she's sleeping with, the married guy, he was upset. He did not want her to have that baby because he already had a baby on the way, and he had a little 2-year-old from his wife. So he already couldn't afford that kid right there. I don't remember if he had any more I don't know if he had another one from his wife besides the 2-year-old. I forgot. But anyway, she did not get rid of the child. He didn't want it, and after she had it, it just their fun relationship, that funness, it it ended. Because like I said, he didn't want the baby. She had it anyways, and then it's like you had this baby while you was married, and this baby is and the baby daddy, he's married to somebody else. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, that's some foolery, that's some fuckery. Because like I said, these kids get older, they gonna have so many questions. Like, that's a trifling situation. It's just really a trifling situation because, again, like I said, we're talking about a life. Now, I'm not just blaming my coworker. I'm just blaming her because he knew what he was doing, and she knew what she was doing. They both knew what they were doing. And okay, yeah, he should have wrapped it up to make sure he didn't get her pregnant, and she should have been on something to make sure that she didn't get pregnant either, because like then you have a child. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, this baby get here, and oh yeah, this, but then after the baby got here, like um the guy, he was mad. Like I said, after that, that drove them apart. Like, he couldn't stand her anymore, and he was mad about the baby, but then eventually he had to get over it. And he would get the baby sometimes, like for the like when the baby got older, he would get him like for the summer or whatever. But it's just like a whole messy situation for just for no reason. Like, it just did not have to be. It just did not have to be. Anyways, so I say all of this to say, for a fact, um, when you were raised by a good person. For a fact if you were raised by a evil person. And you just really got to be honest with yourself. Hold on. Okay, I was trying to do something. Okay, yeah. So you just really have to be honest with yourself. If like, you come from good, you come from bad, whatever. But if you were raised by a evil person, you want to break that cycle. You want to break that chain, get therapy, get prayer, get those evil ways out of you so you don't run your friends away, your future spouse away, and most of all, so you don't pass that evilness onto your child. You don't want your child to be like you. You don't want them to have that bitter life, especially if you are a good parent and you want the best for them. So that's all I have to say. That's it for now. I'm Yvonne Luttrell, and stay tuned for my next episode. That does it for now, everybody. Have a good one. That does it for now, everyone. I said, have a good one.